This is Elias Dufexes. You're watching That Tom Clancy Show.
Thank you, Elias, for that wonderful introduction. And hello, everybody, and welcome to That Tom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your host, the wonderful robot in a hoodie, Mr. That Tom Clancy. Thank you all for joining us here on this lovely Sunday, wherever you are, unless you're like over in Asia and Australia, at which point it's Monday. So congratulations on starting your work week. Please tell us how it's going over there. And if you have any winning lottery numbers, please send them back in time to those of us here in our relative present. We'll give you a cut. So, Emergo Entertainment. Why am I surprised you guys are here? Oh, because you're sitting right over there. But shh, don't tell anyone that. Chroma, so good to see you again. Real quick shout out, though, for anyone who's here because of VR Human, who's a friend of the show who has yet to actually be on the show. So, Vlad, got to get you on here, buddy. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you, Vlad, for the huge shout out there. It means a lot. Like, truly, from the bottom of my digital heart. But you're not here to sit me, or you're not here to sit me. You're not here to see me get all emotional on camera today, maybe a later episode. You are likely here because I have a couple guests on the show. Now, my guests today are two of the developers behind a game called Fireside. It's a quaint game about a suspiciously dangerous hike. But just remember, the real treasure are the friends you made along the way. Bits and Pixels, please help me in welcoming Linus and Paul. Oh, wrong button. There we are. Right button. Hey, guys. Welcome to the show.
What's up?
Thanks
for having us.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Welcome to my garage. I know it's
beautiful.
It's a little spare, but you know, it's home.
Yeah.
So, well, welcome to the show. And then, so we have Paul here is sitting closest to me, and Linus is the far one over there. So I do actually have my little name guy is right. Score.
Yes.
Yeah. So the first question I'd like to ask is something that I've just recently started doing, especially for game developers. But what games are you guys playing right now?
Ooh. Right now, that's a good question. Actually, that's a good question. Like too many. Like when you're developing games, you always need to try out stuff. But you also do not have the time to play everything till the end. But currently, I think Guild Wars 2.
You know, I have a personal friend who's on the writing team for Guild Wars 2.
Ooh.
Cool. Would you like to pass any messages along to him? Preferably good messages.
Guild Wars 2 is nice.
Okay.
It's really nice.
I'm sure to pass that one along.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
And you, Paul, are you also playing Guild Wars 2?
No, I'm I like to differentiate between, you know, playing sort of the nightly round of Overwatch or League of Legends or Counter-Strike or whatever, you know, and then other games, I guess, which are not like these multiplayer relaxation things. And the last one I played there was Slay the Spire.
League.
I sunk... Ooh, we can't say that here, or what's the problem?
Look, I have nothing against League. It's a perfectly fine game that I hate.
Yeah, I actually only started recently again. Like I played it a lot like 5 years ago, and then I stopped, and then recently I started a bit again. And we're always like in a 5 stack, so that makes it bearable.
Yeah, I played like 7 years ago when it was still in like beta or whatever. And
that was 10 years ago, actually, I think.
Was it? Whatever. It's look, man.
Crazy.
I haven't played League in a very long time. I did not have a lot of fun while doing it. And so I stopped. If I were to get back into like a MOBA style game, like probably Smite would be more my jam. It would be more my jam because I like the more direct control.
For sure, yeah. Smite is interesting. Like I've only played like maybe 5 hours or so of that, but it was really cool too. Yeah, it definitely like line of sighting suddenly like made a difference, and line of sighting makes a difference in League, but not in the 3-dimensional sort of way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Chroma in chat. I like the League of Legends promotional videos that they put out. That's about it. Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I mean, dude, their promotional videos are awesome.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like Riot Games trying to be the best Blizzard clone they can, like doing the high budget cinematics and everything.
I mean, somebody's got to be the Blizzard clone right now. So
yeah.
What's so interesting too, because it's like you bring up the cinematics, and you know that is what Blizzard to an extent is known for. I mean, like nobody else was doing the pre-rendered stuff back in the day of like Warcraft 2 and StarCraft, with the exception of Final Fantasy. But so much of it, like now, is just like it's pretty, but now we judge cinematics by how good they look while rendered in real time in game. You know, and well, Blizzard stuff is pretty, and it used to be like the impressive stuff. Now it's like the impressive stuff is like God of War, Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, you know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like a technical awe there as well, right? Because in the like animated films, for like pre-rendered animated films, like technically, sure, there may have been some details which improved over the last 10 years, but like not noticeably, especially for the layman, I'd say. Whereas like the real-time graphics, like over the last 10 years, it's always, you know, climbing closer and closer to that like pre-rendered quality, and that's like pretty. I think that also makes like a large amount of the appeal there. So yeah,
I mean, look at my photoreal environment.
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah, man. You got your coffee mug over there. I hope I was pointing in the right direction.
You were pointing. Yeah, you were pointing over towards Linus. I mean, no, because I mean, you guys are really here, and I understand it's a little off-putting being on TV for the first time, but I'm actually over towards your right. But it's okay. Here. You know, it's your first time. It's cool. It throws everyone off.
Normally I'm more used to 3D space, but since it's now TV is 2D. That's crazy.
Yeah, but this garage is 3D. It looks very 3D to me in here.
Yeah, you know it is, and the theater style lighting also throws people off. So it's okay. Hi Timmy, thanks for joining us today. Well, we could sit here and talk about things like pre-rendered versus real-time cinematics all day, and maybe someday I will with somebody like a cinematic artist. I wish that like I was teasing a future guest, but I'm not. But that said, though, I do have a really cool guest coming up in 2 weeks. Again, not saying anything about it. I've been teasing them for a couple of days. Who does some very cool real-time stuff. Not saying who, but it's going to be cool. So, cool. Well, I like to tease my guests that are coming up because, like, I'm actually like I have the show scheduled out through the end of August.
Nice.
And then I'm already booking into September too, so not like trying to sound like I'm important or anything because I'm very clearly not. But you know, it's just you got to keep busy during the pandemic, and you know, like what better way to do that than sitting in a hermetically sealed garage? So
yeah, I mean, I don't even know how I got here. Like, I woke up and suddenly I was in this garage, and I didn't even know where left and right is anymore.
Well, off camera over there, I have a time machine which allows me to go into alternate timelines. So I grabbed a transporter from Star Trek, mostly because they have those biofilters that get rid of things like infections and viruses. So just in case, you guys are fine. You know, and then this gets to stay hermetically sealed. So, but all jokes aside, we're here to talk about Fireside. Now, I did a little digging. I did a little playing. You can play it on their itch.io page. It started out as a project for the Stay Safe Game Jam, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah.
So, I mean, the name seems fairly obvious as to what the theme was for the jam, but could you go a little bit more in depth, like, because stay safe is still a very kind of like broad topic. So
sure. Paul, do you want to do the theme?
Sure. So the theme for the jam was actually solidarity.
Okay.
And yeah, the game sort of came from the theme because, you know, our take on that was sharing with fellow travelers. Basically, that was the basis for our idea. And yeah, like the demo online right now is still the game jam game. Like, and we did like some minor like quality of life fixes in the week after the jam, but like other than that, the game, which is actually in development right now, like none of that has been released yet. Although you can see insights in our weekly dev streams, which I also should know where left and right is because I do those every Thursday. So getting that plug out there as fast as possible. But yeah, no, that's where it came from. Solidarity and sharing your experiences and especially also your resources with fellow travelers. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I took some time to play through it last night. I lasted 5 days, and I froze to death.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, you know, I have a failsafe built into my transporter, and I brought myself back at the moment before death.
Yeah.
But it's a charming little game.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's like I'm you know, like for because it was a 48-hour jam, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, for 48 hours, man, you guys nailed it. And so
Thanks,
is it just the two of you, or do you have other people on the team as well?
No, we do have other people on the team as well. At the jam, we are working as a team of 4. So one responsible for music, 2 guys for programming and game design, and 1 guy, me, for art and a bit of game design. And now we are currently kind of working as 4 and sometimes as 5. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. So the other ones are CP and Matze, our music guy. Matze, really amazing job on the soundtrack, which also was just made in 48 hours. It was really nice.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I can already say that you two have been significantly more successful in a 48-hour game jam than I ever was in one. So, thumbs up to you, gentlemen. Thanks, up to you.
I mean, it was like I don't know, like my 30th game jam or 20th game jam, 48-hour jam. So crazy. I've done a few. Crazy. So and Linus also, like, not quite as many, I think, but you've also done like 10 I think, or so maybe.
Man, game jams are the best.
For sure.
They are crazy, indeed.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, for anybody who hasn't taken part in a game jam before, the idea of it is that you have a limited amount of time, anywhere from, like, I've seen them as short as like 6 hours to as long as like a month, where you're given a theme at the beginning of it, and you have, you know, you have to build a game in that time frame around that theme. The first game jam I ever did was Global Game Jam 2013. And like the theme there was like Heartbeat or something like that. And I mean, there have been other themes I've seen, like Where Do We Go From Here? Things Aren't Always What They Seem, you know, and it's just like they can be very broad, you know, and it's allows for people to come up with like all sorts of kind of, you know, very different and experimental games, like going hiking and sharing your goods with other travelers, which is absolutely not a game I would have thought of, not in a million years. Not that like I'm against sharing. Some
ideas.
Yeah.
You like sharing? Do you share? Do you often share?
I do share. It's just stuff? You know, it's like I wouldn't like. Because I have, you know, 30, 40 years of video games as a competitive medium, kind of like just beat into my soul. The idea of a game that's not about competition is sometimes hard for me to come up with, you know? So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the theme was really like screaming at you to do something like that, because solidarity, please go ahead and like do something which is not competitive by default. And yeah, it's for sure like still even now still designing the game, it's interesting to sort of think about where then you actually like what design knobs do you have, like what type of fun are you creating, right? And what type of gameplay do you want to actually make? So that's definitely a challenge, still is, like for the game jam. I mean, I think the game jam game, you can talk a bit about this too, Linus, is I think it mainly shines through its aesthetic, to be honest. Like Linus did an awesome job with the graphics and the animations, and Matze did an amazing job with the music, and I think that's what makes it really stands out. There's actually a lot of code stuff going on also, which didn't really work, and we're trying to sort of optimize that now. And well, the code did work, but the design behind the code didn't work, like the game design. That's what didn't really work, because also we just didn't have enough time to finish it. But yeah.
Well, I mean, 48 hours is basically nothing, really, when you think about it. So it's one of those situations where it's, you know, you got to keep the idea small, and you also have to liberally cut everything that isn't coming together quickly, you know. And yeah, it's like I could sit here and talk about game jam stories all day long, but you know, you guys know exactly what's going on. Maybe someday that Thom Clancy show game jam.
Oh.
Yeah, the theme, you're stuck in a garage.
Only options, time traveling?
No. You know, I would let everybody else figure out how to get out of this garage. But yeah, for future thought. Ooh, yeah, good idea. Trying to crash the show, maybe, you know? Yeah. I'm liking this. I'm liking this.
Not sure it's an eject button, maybe under the rubber duck. I'm not sure.
Hey, you leave Duckus alone. Duckus is great. No.
Okay, I'm gonna
try it, Paul.
No, I'm gonna try. Oh no, there's a hole in the space time.
No, you stay away. You stay away from Duckus.
Okay, I can.
I do appreciate that you're trying to manipulate the set, but remember, I am the master here.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, no.
This is my universe. Now that villain Thom has gone away. So you are continuing to develop Fireside beyond its humble game jam beginnings.
Exactly.
Well, just real quick question. What's that? So I imagine you guys are all working remotely, right?
Mm-hmm.
How's that been for you?
It works quite well. So we have never worked like at one spot together, not in this constellation, in this kind of team. So everything has been remotely since the beginning, which has worked quite well for us. It's kind of tough managing times with university work and other stuff, but it's going well, slow but well.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's two things to this. Like, one, this project for us is kind of a side project because, like Linus said, we're still studying, and like at least CP, Lisa, who is the third or the fifth person also working with Imago Entertainment, she and the three of us are like doing our master thesis right now, and Linus is still in his bachelor's, and we're sort of, that's our main occupation, and also trying to build the company Imago Entertainment, which the primary business model isn't actually releasing games and trying to make a living off of that, but it's a bit hybrid. And then in this constellation for like actually 2.5 years now, we've been like only working remotely because we couldn't like rent an office yet, and then we wanted to start doing that actually in this fall, and well, now that didn't work out, unfortunately. So we were really looking forward, finally we can work like in person, and it's going to give us such a nice boost, and it's going to be amazing. And then nope, Corona.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I feel that I understand more than a fair bit about that because, well, as we all know, my home country has done just an excellent job of handling the whole situation. So,
yeah, oof.
This is my sarcastic face.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, I mean, like I just hope you all stay healthy, right? And you can, and it's more to the individual than, I guess, if you don't have state, providing sensible rules, I guess. And I guess also I say a lot, I guess, that's not always working out great, because in the beginning, like Merkel also, we were from Germany, like Merkel also was like, yeah, everyone needs to, be sensible by themselves. Everyone needs to, know for themselves what's best, and try to be, show solidarity. So she actually used that word, but that like didn't work. So then we got the lockdown, and then and now we're in the nice position that we're fortunate enough that, our numbers are quite down, I'd say. It's getting a bit worse at the moment again, with all the people coming back from the holidays, and let's see in 2 weeks what's happening. But for the most part, we're fine, and but still, obviously, no renting new offices and stuff is happening. That's not a thing.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that like I would ideally like to do on this. And oh no, there's a cat. You can't see him, but he's over here. Please do not go on the keyboard, my friend. That would like ruin everything. I'm looking at you. He's like right there.
Plus 7 points to anyone who got
his name is
reference.
Patrick, and I'm petting him now. Let's see. Yeah. I have toyed with the idea of putting a tracker on him so people could like, so there would be, like a cat, but we can't keep a collar on him. So there's no way in hell we're going to be able to keep a tracker on him. And 90% of the time he's very nice and doesn't come over here when he's not supposed to. Now you're standing on my phone.
Now he did.
No, get out of there. Now you're trying to mess with chat. Silly cat.
Let's chat with the cat.
Yeah, he's a good cat. He's just being silly right now. Yeah, that's like space. Space is always one of those things that would be like super nice to have, especially a shared working space. But in the present era, that is the hellscape of 2020. We're figuring out a lot of workarounds, which is pretty great. Just last night, because one of the things that really sucks is, of course, not being able to go out and hang out with friends. And yesterday was the first day I ever actually went into VR chat for anything. And I got to hang out with Chroma Snare, who's there in chat, and then a couple of virtual reality artists that I am big fans of. And it was really awesome. It almost felt like hanging out with people again. You know?
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the good thing is that we do live in this hugely interconnected world, and we can finally use the internet and its powers for good.
Definitely. We can also share memes and stuff. That keeps you happy.
I'm surprised to an extent that my core audience hasn't turned me into a meme yet. So guys, come on.
I mean, it already exists, right? You get some Mr. Destructoids in chat.
Yeah, I mean, that robot is just a pale imitation of me. But
that's true.
Even if it did exist first. But So what are some of the plans moving forward with Fireside? Like, clearly, I mean, I imagine one plan is sell, make some money, but I mean, other than that, like, what are some things that didn't make that got cut from the game jam that you'd like to bring back in, or some features that just never even made it past brainstorming or something?
Well, a lot of the stuff which you can currently see in the demo has changed since we started developing it. So I think we started about, like, we chilled for a month after this game jam, and then we thought about it. Let's do it. Let's have a meeting. And during the development, we had a few ideas we wanted to bring in, and we had this whole system of NPCs moving on their own. Paul can probably talk about that for a whole day or something like that. And we wanted to make the world really interactive and have a lot of features coming along with that, like missions, and you have items according to, like, a person has a specific item and you need to bring her that and stuff like this. And a lot of that could have not been done in 48 hours. And also, like, the art style you currently see in the demo version is also probably due to the lack of time. You make the best out of the 48 hours you got.
Yeah.
And with the version we are currently developing, we definitely want to bring a lot more depth to it. So we currently have a lot of narration, or we have some narration in our game, but we want to push that further. And we want to add something, more stories, longer stories, shorter stories, just so the players can have more engagement with the world.
Yeah, I guess what Linus was saying is that in the demo we had a simulation focus. So all of the NPCs were actually simulated, and the way they moved and made decisions depended on what items they had, what they gave them, and they were also actually consuming items. And for the release version, we are deciding to actually go away from that. So we want to do a more narrative focused game, because we feel like that's more of what the game is. It's not so much about, managing some simulation and trying to exploit it. It's more about experiencing a story. And that's why we're spending a lot of time developing NPCs, like what are their backstories, and how do they talk to the player, and this sort of stuff. What quests would they give you? What makes sense? We've actually spent a lot of time working like a node-based dialogue editor. CP made a node-based dialogue editor, and that's going to be like the main way for us to create content then. And so even though I think the feel of the demo still very much conveys the feel we want to have for Fireside, like the mechanics are like did a complete 180 basically from the simulation focus to this narrative focus.
Nice. I would like to say real quick on the art style that I really liked the hats that you made for the other people.
You go, Linus.
Yeah, I try to be creative.
Well, I mean, it's an easy way to differentiate between a bunch of different people without doing something like just changing shirt color. So, but at the same time, it was creatively done.
Thank you. But we also got the shirt color. We just meshed up some stuff: hats, shirt color, movement, animations, and all together you have new people.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell because I'm not wearing one, but I'm a bit of a hat aficionado. So. Yeah, so I always appreciate when games have a plethora of hats.
Although the screen on your head, reminds me a bit of Master Chief's helmet, and that would be sort of a hat.
That is pretty much precisely why I added these little bits up here, was for some Master Chiefness. It's actually inspired by a piece of art by the same artist who did the piece I have on my back wall there, VR Human, who I thanked earlier on the show. But I, added some tweaks to make it my own. Because it had, like, I can't just straight up copy another dude's work. That's just messed up. Like, we appropriately credit our artists on this show. Music before the show was by Pop Sky, which so crediting those artists.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, it's the right thing to do. You know?
Yes, indeed. Many people just copy and repost stuff without crediting, without doing enough research, and that's sad.
We got ethics and morals up in this garage.
Awesome. Yeah, so. it felt really morally compact, or not. Okay, that was. it felt nice and moral in here when I got in here.
Yeah,
the dark has moral.
We try that. We try and maintain a welcoming sense of high morality.
Awesome.
It also keeps evil people at bay.
I think there's something missing in this garage.
What's that?
A campfire.
Yeah, but fires are bad inside without proper ventilation.
Yeah, and the fire alarm's gonna go off. We're gonna get sprinkled. I guess the duck would like it. That would be cool.
No, you think I have the money to afford a fire protection system in this garage? Oh no! If something starts in this, I'm just going straight out that door.
It's like the "this is fine" meme.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, okay. Man, that'd be a fun meme. Just me sitting there with a cup of coffee. Yeah. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is fine. Having guests on a podcast and be like,
I wouldn't mind getting sprinkled with water actually right now because it's so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Way too hot.
That used to be the way it was here for me doing the show, but I got AC installed, so it's nice. So much nicer in here now.
Yeah, especially with that suit, with the hoodie in summer. Yeah.
Look, man, fashion is fashion. And you just kind of gotta suffer it sometimes.
You got it. Yeah, you got it. That's right.
just the way it goes. Oh shoot! Like I'm trying to come up with more questions here because, this is. I mean, Fireside's a very. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let me talk about something. You already mentioned earlier that a game without competition, game without the focus on solidarity and just doing friendly stuff I also was not used to it with starting with development. So I was like, what kind of events do we need? Maybe a pack of wolves attacks us, or maybe we step into a trap or something like that, something brutal, something which really hurts yourself. And after thinking of more about the game itself and the spirit and the mood we want to spread and stuff, that's not what we want. Things are the first thing you always think of is something brutal, something fighting against some outlaws who want to rob your stuff. But with Fireside, we want to do something else, and you really need to think in another perspective or another way when you start developing something like this.
Yeah. It's interesting because when I made a test item, I made a sword. I was programming the item system, need to make a test item. Okay, made a sword. It's the most obvious RPG, and it's why? You could have been a burger. Burgers are cool, right? Swords are cool, but burgers, you can eat them. That's cool.
I mean, one of the first items I came across in the game was a log.
Okay, true. Logs are quite
Yeah. What did I immediately do with that log? I gave it to Madeline. She was nice. I need a log. And I was like, well, I have a log. Here you go.
Yeah. And then, ideally in the final version, she would have thanked you and she would have reacted to that. And you may have gotten a quest and maybe later you would have, she would have told you how she used it actually and to survive in the wilderness. And then that sort of effect to make some nice atmosphere. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I figured how she used it for a fire. Otherwise, she was using it as a club to beat bears back or something.
Well, she could use it as a bridge, or she could use it as
a single log. She could just step over what she's building a bridge over.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough. Not a bridge, but maybe she holds onto it while swimming over a river. I don't know. I think you can get creative with that. There's more options.
She's using it as a pillow. It rolls downstairs, rolls over, and pairs.
Cool.
It's log.
Yeah, I mean,
for my old school Ren and Stimpy fans. So
she's using it as a reverse E-curve. Wait, what?
It's better than bad. It's good. Sorry, I just.
Oh no! What you doing, Paul? No.
I made a math joke.
Sorry, he's making math jokes. I'm referencing a almost 30-year-old cartoon. God.
This is going great.
I'm a nerd. I should get out of here.
Look, Paul, I'm gonna let you in on a secret just in case you haven't picked up on it yet. But you are surrounded by nerds.
Ooh, okay.
Look, football hooligans, nerds. Gamers, nerds. Writers, scientists, construction workers, engineers, nerds. It's just a matter of what they're a nerd about.
Yeah.
That said, though, man, I almost feel bad for the football hooligans because what are they supposed to do now if they can't go to football games?
Yeah.
Dana, oh, you're a nerd. You watch football? Bah.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it's like the people who watch like whatever the leagues are out there. There's like a billion, and I can't keep track of it. You know, like the guys who memorize stats, who have jerseys going back generations of players, like stuff like that. Like, if that isn't being a nerd, then what we do as game developers, as gamers, as streamers, podcasters, all that stuff, then that sure as hell isn't being a nerd.
Well, being a nerd is nice. I like being a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
You know, it's all just been a matter of of just like kind of like spinning it and just acceptance of it. And thanks to things like Stranger Things and Freaks and Geeks before it, it's finally okay to be like what has traditionally been a nerd. Even though it's always been okay.
Yeah, so being a nerd is kind of mainstream now. We should quit that.
I was a nerd before it was cool.
Linus wasn't. He was way too young.
Just reminds me of a really bad coffee joke.
Oh, okay.
Go for it.
How did the hipster burn their tongue? They drank their coffee before it was cool.
Wow. That's actually funny. Reddit.com/r/dad jokes would enjoy that one a lot.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that that's where I got it from because I don't really read it, but that is not a joke that I came up with myself. So, okay. I'm more of like the situational humor kind of person where I'm all like, what's the deal with airline food? It comes in these silly packets, and for all the money we spend on tickets, couldn't it be better? Sorry, that's my really terrible Jerry Seinfeld impression.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Sorry. I'm also quite young.
It's like a 30-year-old sitcom. It's okay. I'm just going to go sit over here and be old. It's okay. You guys just do the show without me. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I will just sit here and be young, I guess. Paul,
okay, never mind. It is actually my show. I should actually continue to be professional. So, well, this is one of the points in time where I remind the audience that if they have any questions for Paul and Linus over here, you are absolutely more than welcome and, in fact, encouraged to go ahead and type them up in chat. Don't worry. I have a computer here. It allows me to read chat. If I go really close to it, it's because my robot eyes suck, as you can see, because you can't see my robot eyes. But they're there. So yeah, what is the timetable you guys are expecting to actually put out? I know it's one of those it's one of those token questions that talk show and podcast hosts have to ask. It's literally in our contracts. Don't worry, okay. I'm not asking for like super specifics, and I always accept the when it's done answer as well.
15th of May, 2074.
Oh wow, that's specific.
Damn, Paul, why didn't you tell me? So I can go on
sorry,
holidays
man.
now?
I had this deal with Epic Games, publishing our game, and they said, it has to be done by then. now I don't even remember the date anymore. 2074. You know, that's when it has to be done. And but I couldn't talk about it because they instantly NDA'd me and told me I can't talk to my team. You know, that's a healthy publisher-developer relationship.
Yeah,
well,
that
now
really
on
is.
Stream. That's crazy.
Yeah, now I'm gonna like they're like here like
it's fine.
Mr. Sweeney's gonna come swooping in to my window
fine.
and he's gonna
they like me
kidnap
here.
me.
So
nice.
Epic likes me. I'm kind of a big deal. I was on their community spotlight for a week.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh, sweet.
So you know.
So that's the perfect time to announce
track.
this, right?
Well, the perfect time.
We don't actually have a publishing deal with Epic, and we're not actually like, just to be very clear, we're not actually releasing it in 2074. We're releasing it sometime, hopefully next year. Hopefully,
nice.
Maybe even this year, but like next year for sure.
Are you going to stick with itch.io for your distribution, or are you looking into things like the Epic Store and Steam as well?
Yeah, like Steam for sure. Like I think it'd be a waste not to put it on Steam. And yeah, maybe other platforms. I mean, we're developing with Unity. I haven't really looked into the Epic Store like terms yet, if they're like cool with that.
Yes, they absolutely are. They also give you a better cut of the sales than Steam does.
Yeah, that I know. Yeah.
You know, not trying to push you like in any one direction. I'm just offering facts in a very interesting and potentially leading way.
Yeah, 12% was it, right, in the Epic Store?
I honestly don't even remember. I just know that it's their cut is significantly smaller than Steam's cut.
Yeah, maybe chat knows, but I think it was 12%. And Steam, I don't think. Can you say that? Well, I didn't sign anything, so I think 30% it was for Steam.
Yeah, no, that's known. Like that's out there.
Yeah, so, and I think the Epic one was also out there because how else would I have known?
Yeah, well, they made a big point about it. They're all like, we're only taking this percentage. Steam's taking this percentage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think it was 30 and 12 then. So like less than half, which is actually really nice. Like I do feel like Epic Games is like also with, you know, the whole Apple thing like yesterday or the day before yesterday. It's like the, you know, paladin of game developers trying to really go against the evil monsters of corporate
well, the funny thing is
money grabbing
is I appreciate like. So I look at this from a couple different perspectives. So one, I absolutely appreciate that somebody is finally standing up to Apple on their walled garden thing. I'm upset that it requires another multi-billion-dollar corporation for anybody to pay attention to the fight. And at the same time, like Epic isn't doing it from this altruistic perspective, you know. They're doing it to make more Fortnite money. And, you know, they're using Fortnite as their bargaining chip to bring about, you know, more fairness and transparency on the platform. And hey, Fictional Cat, thanks for joining us. Like one of the big counter arguments that everybody kind of goes with is, or not everybody, but I've seen online, is people going like, it's funny that they're fighting against Google and Apple for their 30% cut, but they're not fighting against Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft for their 30% cut. But the thing is that the 30% cut is something they're going around, but they're not fighting that. They're fighting this idea that Apple in the way they run the App Store is they're not applying the rules regarding the App Store fairly across the entire environment. They're singling out games specifically to basically almost not punish is probably the wrong word, but they're making it significantly more difficult for games to operate in that space than other apps.
I didn't know that, actually.
That's specifically what Epic is fighting them on. And it also goes hand in hand with, because I'm sure you guys don't pay a huge amount of attention to American politics and stuff like that, because why the hell would you? You've got the EU to deal with. Apple is one of the companies that's currently being investigated by Congress here for violation of antitrust and monopoly laws. So this, like, Epic making this move has given Congress this huge piece of evidence, because if Apple is treating a huge company this way, imagine what they're doing to the little guy. You know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I presume, like, having published some, like, a couple of apps on Google Play now, I presume they don't even talk to the little guys. I'm surprised that they actually make exceptions, or is that what you're saying, that they actually make exceptions to their App Store policies with other companies, other bigger companies?
Well, that's what Epic is alleging in their lawsuit.
Okay.
And it's also to what so Epic is basically the gist of their argument is that they're fine to bypass Apple and their 30% cut, because they're arguing that what they're selling in Fortnite is something that has value beyond the scope of the app itself. Because, like, Apple is fine not taking a cut out of other apps so long as the benefit of the purchase is something that is not intrinsic to the app itself. And so Epic's argument is that because the game is multi-platform and because you can link your account across all platforms, that the purchases that players make from an Apple device are not just limited to the Apple device. So it goes beyond the scope of what Apple says in their terms of service.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And in that case, yeah, it's really mostly Epic actually fighting from themselves, because even if they win, it might just be that Apple gives them the go-ahead to sort of monetize how they want for their app, but not actually, like, won't actually reduce the cut.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the idea is not so much that it is, either way, it's Epic is definitely fighting a fight that will benefit other people, but it is still Epic fighting for Epic. They just also happen to be championing a cause that will have rippling benefits for all sorts of other people.
Yeah.
And also, too, I'm just happy somebody's taking the fight to Apple on this, because their App Store ecosystem has been just so, like, strangled, you know, with how they work things, that it's just like, you know, it's happy to finally see somebody go, you know, enough is enough. But as I said at the beginning of all this, I'm just upset that it took somebody at the size and scale of Epic for anybody to actually, well, give a shit about.
And it's still a David versus Goliath thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even Epic, it's still like, okay, wow, you actually, like, had the guts, like, to do this. Not bad. Tim Sweeney, not bad.
Well, the sad thing is that Epic is our David here, valued at $17 billion US. But then again, you have Apple that's valued at over $1 trillion.
Yep.
Like, that's just
something.
Yeah, that's just, like, insane. But that's, you know, people, I'm sure, well, the viewer count hasn't changed, so people clearly don't mind us going on and on our soapbox about the Apple Epic fight. But it's not entirely what we're here for. But unfortunately, I'm out of questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's also all of our fault a bit, because I mean, you know, Fireside just isn't. It's not that far in development.
That's okay. It's not your fault. It's my fault. I'm the one who's in charge of this stuff. True. You know, like, I'm in charge of the show here. This is my thing. So, you know, you're never at fault. You're the guest. It's always the host's fault. You know, if you ever end up on another talk show, now you know, if something goes wrong, even if it's your fault, it's the host's fault.
Yeah, but what we could maybe talk about, because I always thought this was an interesting topic, is sort of balancing game development, making games with, in our case, university life, or also if you're working a day job, right, and you try to make games on the side, how do you actually finish a game in this context, and then how do you work to release it? And like at least Linus and me, we have a bunch of projects, and at least for me, I've also released a couple by now. So yeah, that's the thing we've been trying to figure out for a while. And for Fireside, it's interesting because like the time budget per week is right now, I can just say it, is 5 hours per person per week, which is really low. I mean, for a game, right, that means you need maybe four or five, let's say 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks to compensate for like 1 week of focused work, maybe on the game. And so the question then is like, how do you document your process? How do you actually build on stuff if everything is sort of so drawn apart, so slowed down? And yeah, someone like, I don't know which questions I would ask for that, but maybe that could be something interesting to talk about.
Oh, wow. What am I even here for, guys? These,
know what? Come with some more questions.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you guys just want to run this show on your own? Because
no, I don't.
I have lunch waiting for me downstairs. So.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Like, have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to flip the script entirely. Like, also, like, I was a shoutcaster, like an esports shoutcaster for like 3 years. So that's why maybe like.
Did you do it in English or German? Just out of random curiosity.
Mostly in German. Yeah.
What does shoutcasting in German sound like?
Oh, like, should I? You want me to give an example?
Well, yeah, because like, look, I've only been to Germany once, and you guys are down in Bavaria, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. It wasn't Bavaria. It was like Lübeck, so northeast of the country.
Well, Lübeck is really pretty. Yeah.
I mean,
you should come to Bavaria.
Yeah, I would at some point like to, because allegedly, according to various ancestry sites, that's where my German heritage comes from.
Ooh.
Allegedly. But like one day. I've already been to Ireland, which is where all of my Irish heritage comes from.
Nice.
So yeah, stupid joke. Fictional cat. I like that mentality. It's always your fault, Thom. Thanks, buddy. But yeah, you said you guys are budgeted 5 hours a week. That's nuts. I spend almost half of that budget every day I produce the show, just producing that day's episode. Because
wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's roughly. So we start. So the filming of the episode itself starts 15 minutes before start time, so we can handle compositing and any last-minute tech issues. Then the show itself runs anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour and a half. So that's right there on at least an hour. Then there's the time after the show where I spend talking with you guys, saying thank you and everything after the show, because like that it'd be like you gotta bring people up, and then you gotta help ease them back down, so that's a solid hour and a half right there, on like a short day. And then, of course, there's the editing of the show, which takes like 5 minutes. For YouTube, there's the rendering, which takes since I remembered to record locally today, and I don't have to re-download it off of Twitch at a lower resolution. That's another like half hour right there. And so we're looking at least 2 hours every day, and that's leaving out like the actual show prep of like getting the questions ready, getting my cue cards, and like. I'm doing this, 4-6 times a week. It's like
I saw you even this week. You had even 7 streams, right? Every day. Or...
Yeah, I'm on. Let's see. So we Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm on day 6 of an 11-day stretch right now.
Oof. Yeah.
So I have 5 more shows.
Damn.
So Friday, when I finish up my show, I think it's with Ashley versus. When I finish up that show on Friday, will be. I will have a 2-day weekend right there. And like, unless somebody like, I don't know, Steven Spielberg or like Barack Obama says, hey, I want to be on your show, I'm not scheduling anything for those 2 days.
Yeah, you hear that, Steven? Get on.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg. Have your people call my people.
Here, Steve. Get Steve a quick call.
You know, fun fact about that. Do you guys remember the format Laserdisc? No, of course you don't.
What's that?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Laserdisc was like the precursor step between like VHS video cassettes and DVD. Mm-hmm. And they were these like giant record size like compact discs. And they were two-sided, you know, everything. And they, you know, all came in letterbox. It was like the only way to get like movies in letterbox back in the day. But we're, you know, I'm a huge fan of Jurassic Park. Like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And my dad was my dad and was friends with Steven Spielberg. And when it came out on when it came out on Laserdisc, Steven autographed us the like fancy special edition Laserdisc box to me and like sent it as a gift. So in storage, I've got a Steven Spielberg autographed Laserdisc edition of Jurassic Park.
Nice. You should Twitter that to him and he like ask him to come on the podcast, and then you have some viewers, like more than now, I think. Because
I mean, hey, I'm really happy
he's a more interesting guest than Imago Entertainment.
Look, one, don't sell yourself short.
Okay.
Two,
sorry.
You're not entirely wrong, but that's just because he made Jaws, you know. But it, you know, like and additionally, I missed meeting him by like 5 minutes at E3 several years ago. I was in one of the first groups to play Rainbow Six Siege, and he was in the next group, and I was like, God damn it!
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
but that's,
yeah. After you.
Okay. The internet is a wonderful place for having conversations.
Truly.
Like that, yeah.
And don't mind me, I'm just petting my cat again.
I find that interesting because we definitely don't have as much time spent on our game every week than you on your podcast, for sure not. And actually, like, that's because we for this we want this to be a very relaxed project, which we have fun with, which isn't in the way ever, you know, because like other things just have priority sometimes. And if you have like sort of this side project which then gets this higher priority, then in the beginning especially it can be pretty easy to do that, right? You can, because it's so new and exciting, you work on it really a lot, and then by, you know, week 5 or 6 maybe, suddenly the priority drops, and then, you know, if it starts dropping, it fades out, and then suddenly you're not working at all anymore. Like, opposed to if you start working on it, you know, just in small amounts from the beginning, and you say, okay, we will never go below this like amount of work per week unless we have scheduled a point where we stop the pause, like unless it's like a scheduled break, right? Then I think it can work, and then I think you can actually keep going and working on the project, and then, you know, increase the amount of work whenever you have more time or more resources, and that way. But then when you increase it, you aren't in this like magical fuzz box of excitement of the beginning of a project where you just like assign too much priority and then you drop off afterwards. So that's the theory why we're only working like this short amount of time on the side project at the moment. And like, thanks to Unity, we still manage to, you know, every week share some screenshots of what we did with the team, and that's also very important, communicating our successes to each other. And that's been pretty good for us. So I think, and also it's a team effort, right? You don't want or at least in my opinion, it's bad to have like one person in a team working like 30 hours on a project per week and another one working like 5, especially if there's like no money involved yet. Then it, like, the person working less can be a bit intimidated and you know, can get lost also, and so that's why we sort of went with the lowest, like what the team members who said like the lowest amount of time per week, we set that, and then we're sort of working from that level, and that's been working well so far, although obviously we aren't making that much progress because it's just not that much time. But yeah. Like Linus, like, we haven't talked about this in the team, like, really, because, well, in 5 hours per week we don't really have much time for meetings, but like true. Like what's been your impression also? I mean,
I'm quite, also, let's put it this way. I'm quite happy with how it works. So 5 hours, you see some progress, people are doing stuff, and you know, nobody's like working too much or working too less, because it's like, it's a fine amount. You can easily do it if you want to. And if you just like do an hour a day or something like that, you easily can fill up a week with 5 hours. So that's quite fine. But you know, you really notice that the progress is kind of slow. So if you just work for 1 week straight, it's insane how much you can do in just 1 week. But
make
yeah, I'm
like
quite
7 podcasts, for example.
You got it. We need your amount of time.
I just have to sit here and talk to people. So
no, I mean, that's really, like, sitting there and talking to people, I think, is really hard. Like, it requires a lot of attention. Like, at least for shoutcasting, for me, that was like that way. It was really definitely tiring, especially for longer periods of time.
I like these guys.
No, but I really think that's just the case. Like totally. Also now it's really amazing to talk, but you know, like, taking in all of the things people are saying and then trying to, you know, form their own opinions quickly, it can be hard. Yeah,
and also producing it all solo live while wearing a VR headset on your face.
Got it.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you actually have the VR headset on.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't realize.
Hold on a second here. Let me get my
What's happening now?
What's happening now is that I am taking a quick selfie to let you guys know, and I will share that selfie after the episode has aired, so everybody can get that opportunity. To see. I had to take my hands off so I could do it because, you know, phones. But petting cats is easy to do with my hands on. Well, gentlemen, this has been an excellent show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's okay. It's over already. Thanks so much for having us.
It's not over yet.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's not
because
over
there's
yet. Okay.
one last thing to do, and it's a little bit that I call the 5 questions. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar, and for any first-timers in our audience, the 5 questions are, well, 5 questions that I prepared before the show that have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. We talked about a lot of stuff. And we did talk about a lot of stuff, but I'm looking over my list over my cue card over there, and yeah, we didn't touch on a single one of these questions.
I'm looking forward to this.
So, there are no right or wrong answers that I'll tell you about. This is just an opportunity for us in the audience and for me to get a better idea of who you two are as people. So, question number 1, who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Yoda.
Good answer. I dig it.
For me, hard. And let's go with Obi-Wan.
Okay.
I was gonna say Qui-Gon Jinn, but I'm gonna say Obi-Wan.
Were you watching the episode the other day when I asked my guest to choose between Qui-Gon Jinn or Obi-Wan Kenobi?
No, I wasn't.
Well, I did, and they picked Qui-Gon. So
yeah, I can see
you
that.
automatically win some points for going with Obi-Wan, the correct answer.
Yes.
Between those two,
right
like
or wrong.
Yoda's an excellent choice. Like, dude, I can't fault a Yoda answer on that ever. So personally, though, I got to go with my boy, Wedge Antilles.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember who that was.
He was the leader of Rogue Squadron at the Battle of the Second Death Star. He was Red 2 in the Battle of the First Death Star.
I have no idea.
Wedge is a top-notch X-Wing ace, and he is my boy. So,
nice.
But before I get to question number 2, Fictional Cat has redeemed a boatload of points to make all of us dab.
Okay.
So
I can do that easy.
Boom.
I hope you're seeing everything.
Oh yeah, we got it. Thank you, gentlemen.
You can make small dabs.
I like
that.
that.
Paul, you made a giant dab.
Well, he's got a giant camera. So.
Oh yeah.
He really has.
720p HD webcam.
Oh,
wow.
Fancy.
No.
Oh,
So question
Actually,
number 2.
It goes out of focus all of the time.
It's fine. Your video is really small anyway. Nobody can tell.
Okay.
Question number 2. What is your favorite holiday?
Holiday. Oh, Christmas. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna go with Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's tough. Like it's just the same. You do nothing and just sit there. And Christmas, you have presents. Sometimes you don't need to. I mean, it's just a day. But...
Christmas is cool because Christmas is always the time when I play like my big like RPG for the year. Like that's because when I like play like RPGs or big games which take a lot of time, I really need to immerse myself like for a week and I can't do anything else. And so that's what I do on Christmas.
Nice.
And that's why it's cool.
Good to know. So I can't talk to you on Christmas. That's something.
Yeah.
We shouldn't
Sometimes
talk to him on Christmas anyway because separation of work and personal life. Come on. Jeez.
Yeah, that was really...
We're glad.
All right.
Oh, R.I.P. Linus Mike.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no, Linus is quiet now. I guess we won't know his answer for question number 3. What is the game you are most looking forward to over the next year?
Yeah, so it's Cyberpunk, but because that's boring as an answer, what am I gonna say? No, it's Cyberpunk. Fuck this. Like, I'm excited for Cyberpunk because I also just like actually outside of Christmas just played Witcher 3 and that was really good. Like, I was really fed up with the Dungeons and Dragons aesthetic, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like the way CD Projekt did it in Witcher, like it reignited my lust for RPGs in that Western sense. And yeah, that's why Cyberpunk, even though it's been pushed back again, right? I want to play that. Yeah.
I mean, we all know it's going to look better on PC anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Linus, I think we lost your audio there.
Yeah, still.
Did you accidentally mute yourself, or did your headset maybe come unplugged? Or unpaired?
Try this. Can you hear me this way?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. All right, we can hear you now. You're very low, but
okay,
you know.
I'm sorry about that. I need to hold my phone. Please don't sing or something. The camera.
Now you can be like a vlogger and be like, "Hey guys, thanks for joining me here on that Thom Clancy show." You know.
Yeah, I definitely can do that. Maybe I should put on Instagram stories. Yeah, but I think I'm mostly looking forward to. I heard about this. What was it? A roguelite narrative game. I think it's called Fireside or something like that. I'm looking forward to this.
He got us there, folks. He got us there. All right. So, question number 4. Console or PC?
PC.
Yeah, PC.
All right. And finally, question number 5. What is your favorite candy?
That's how's it? What does count as candy? Like a crepe?
No, like a crepe would be like a crepe would be a pastry, I think. Like candy would be like, you know, like a sugary treat that generally comes in some form of plastic packaging. You know, like candy bars, gummy bears.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Paul.
Snickers ice cream. Snickers ice cream.
Oh, word.
It's the best right now. Yeah. The deep frozen Snickers, if you haven't tried it and it's hot outside, try it. You won't regret it. Unless you're allergic to nuts, then maybe. But
then you'll definitely regret it.
Yeah. I'm allergic to nuts. I'm not allergic to Snickers ice cream. So that's
then
fine.
You are a lucky person.
Yes.
I think I would just go with.
What was that?
Some dark chocolate with some caramel.
Okay. All right. I guess those are some pretty solid answers. They're very German answers, very logical, very well thought out. I imagine they're also
for 7 years for this question.
Yeah, I'm sure that they're also very well engineered.
Oh, definitely, and on time.
Yeah, Nick in chat says caramel, a man of culture.
Yeah, you got it. Man of culture as well. I see it.
Not that we Americans
get a monocular and a top hat any second now. Just wait.
Not that we Americans know anything about culture.
Oh,
hey,
you got McDonald's. That's cool.
Yeah.
Classic.
Sorry.
It's fine. McDonald's and Starbucks are like the two viruses that we have shared with the world, so you all can suffer along with us. So
actually, you brought us Subway, so praise for that. Like, you might not know this, but you're actually talking to Mr. Subway. Like, it's an addiction, and also my one and only love in life is Subway.
Dude, you don't even have like you're praising Subway, which is like pretty much the worst sub shop or chain sub shop in the United States. You don't even know what you're missing, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to go to the States this year for GDC, but then Corona happened, so unlucky.
But so of course, there's Jimmy John's, which is another one, which is better than Subway. You don't have like the have it your wayness of Subway, but it's better. But then of course, the best, in my opinion, of widespread sub shops is Potbellies.
Okay.
And their shtick is that you do get that like almost Subway level of like freedom for your stuff, but everything gets toasted. Everything. And they also have really dope milkshakes and chili.
But Subway toasts everything.
Yeah, Subway can, but like also Potbellies is just better.
Okay, fair enough. I can hear that answer for sure. I'm willing to try, but I don't believe it.
If you ever, the next time you fly through the U.S., if you fly through Dulles International Airport, there is a Potbellies there. I absolutely recommend you try it, especially a sandwich called the Wreck, which comes with turkey, roast beef, salami, Swiss cheese by default, though I go with provolone. That is then all toasted, and then personally I throw lettuce, hot peppers, Italian seasoning, and mayo on it.
I'm going to remember all of that when I go to Dallas to the international airport.
He's German. I completely believe he will remember all of this.
Yeah, I'll come prepared. Like I'm gonna look up the VOD and I'm gonna write it down on my Google Keep, and I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna say, hey, you know this guy who makes this game developer podcast? And if I don't get like $5 off at least, then I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna
ask me for $5.
Pet your duck.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's fair. Just ask them for that Thom Clancy sandwich. They'll know precisely what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Other than your Twitter, which has been popping up on my little box down there, is there anywhere else for people to go to find updates on Fireside that you would like to share with us?
Yes, we have a Discord server. It's not very active right now. I know that's a terrible way of selling a Discord server, but we will be recruiting playtesters from that Discord server once we actually start doing testing.
And that's there's a link for that in your Twitter, right?
There is not a link for that in our Twitter, which I just now realized is a mistake. So congrats, you subverted our engineering successfully. But yeah, I'm gonna or Linus, are you? No, I'm gonna put an invite link into chat, if that's fine.
Fortunately, you're gonna get flagged for that one.
Okay.
Fictional Cat is the resident mod right now. So if you can whisper that over to him, he can then post that Discord link in chat. Okay, assuming that he has whispers open for randos. Yep, he does. So go ahead and message that over to Fictional Cat. He'll get that into the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for making it this far. The link will be down in the description box down below. Don't forget, like, subscribe, bing, hit that bell. Let's do this.
Nice.
Anyone can contact me. Okay, Fictional Cat. Yo, Fictional Cat was in the VR chat group that I was in last night, and like he's got this dope like purple Cheshire cat thing going on. It was hilarious, and I loved it. It's only like it's super teeny, so it was like I'm already a tall guy. I'm like 1.8 meters tall. Got to give you guys that the metric. So. And so I'm just like, towering over everybody except for Chroma and his like 8-meter tall thing. But, well, gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for joining us. Paul, Linus, it has been an honor to have you here on the show and to talk about Fireside. Everybody, we've got those links there. They have their Twitter right there. If you want to check out their original, well, mostly original Game Jam version of the game, you can find their itch.io link on their Twitter profile. It's definitely a cool game to check out. But gentlemen, I will talk to you again in just a moment because it's time for me to switch over to this camera and say thank you all for joining us today. Like, it's super great to have you all here. It's just, makes the show so much more interesting and fun from my perspective. Not to say that they aren't interesting and super cool, but like when I have the audience to like bounce ideas off of and make fun of me, it's definitely a more enjoyable situation. I will be back tomorrow. There will be a show. I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I'll have more information about it tomorrow, but there is going to be a show, and I completely forgot to take a note as to who I'm talking to about it tomorrow. Dude, can I? Oh, it's going to be with Beck and Kate from a game called City Click. Why did Thom look at me like that? I don't make fun of him that often. Yeah, when was the last time you called me old, Nick? But Beck and Kate are working on a game called City Click, which is kind of like if SimCity met Hearthstone. And I tolerate both of those games, so I'm looking forward to talking to them about it. Other than that, everybody, thank you all for joining us. I will talk to you all tomorrow. But until then, be sure to drink some water, take your vitamins, wear your mask, and be kind to each other. So, ladies, gentlemen, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next episode of That Thom Clancy Show.